Hi, this is Rob Metris, and welcome to the Silent Seller channel for another educational video. Today, we're going to be talking about business listings, and more specifically, universal business listing. Listings are used to power a number of web properties, but the most important is Google Local or Google Places, while others are Bing, Yahoo, Yelp, and Foursquare. I'm going to be talking today with Brett Fritz, the Senior Vice President of Sales for Universal Business Listings. Who are you and what do you do?
So my name is Brett Fritz. I am the Senior Vice President of Sales here at Universal Business Listing.
Now, what does Universal Business Listings do, and how should a small business or a professional practice utilize your service?
Yeah, I mean, you said it correctly. We're a service provider that helps businesses, big or small, really optimize their local search presence. So we're all about presence and visibility across the web. The services that we provide is all about keeping your business listing information accurate and consistent across the full digital landscape, whether it's search engines, business directories, IYPs, social media networks. We're all about accuracy and consistency.
And when you talk about IYPs, you mean Yellow Pages? Yellow Page listings?
I'm sorry, you broke up there, Rob?
You said IYP. You mean Yellow Pages listings?
Correct. Internet Yellow Page listings. So, the easy way to talk about it is the transition from print publications to digital publications online. Print publications, a new a shoe store comes into the market, and the first thing they would do 15, 20 years ago is go to the Yellow Pages and get their list, their name, address, phone number found in that print publisher. Well, now when a new shoe store comes into the new market, yes, there's still great value to having your print advertising there, but a lot of their customers are searching online. They're searching in those online directories such as major search engines like Google, Yahoo, and Bing, but also into the yellowpages.com, Super Pages, White Pages, City Search, Yelp, you name it. All of these online directories now are driving thousands, if not millions, of traffic users and consumers that are looking for products and services that businesses want to be found in.
Okay, and the landscape seems to be changing in your market right now. I did a post 5 or 6 months ago about UBL and the different services that it fed my information to. And in the last little while, I've been hearing more from Yext, Y-E-X-T, and and it's fairly pricey for a small businessman. I'm trying to let my viewers and readers know what the best value opportunities are for them to make sure that they get listed. Now, obviously, the average business should be claiming their Google Places and optimizing that to start with, and keeping their information consistent. Now, where does UBL fit into the landscape? I always refer to David Mims' beautiful chart of the local search ecosystem, which I have in my blog, and I think most search fellows in North America probably have too.
Yeah, it's 2012, almost 2013, and going back a few years now, when UBL opened its doors in 2008, 2009, it was purely a listing service. Get your business out there. There wasn't an easy way for businesses to make sure their business data and content was distributed correctly. So we started as just that type of distribution company. But as more services and the ecosystem has evolved, we've continued to try to evolve as well, where we've first noticed that the space didn't have any reports. There was no way to validate the service. You send it out, you pay someone like UBL or an aggregator, and they just said kind of, thank you, trust us for it. But that wasn't good enough. So we started to add different levels of validation reports to show that the accuracy was getting accepted, to show that your visibility was increasing over time. And now, as we get into 2011, 2012, and going forward, there are these new service platforms and providers like Yext, great company, that provide, real-time analytics, real-time updates, true ownership of your presence across a small number of sites. But the value that we bring to UBL is that, we've actually got a great depth of different offerings where we've partnered with companies like Yext for services that they provide. We've partnered with different publishers to get faster distribution into their networks. Ultimately, we know that a small or large business owner has three things when they wake up every morning. They have time, they have energy, and they have money. And you have to find the correct mix of those three things to be able to be successful at the end of the day. So some businesses might find great value into a real-time updates platform like what Yext does. Others say, I don't have the budget, I don't need the analytics, so they can scale up and scale down across that medium. And that's where we provide a really flexible suite of solutions to the customers.
I've seen, and I'm a Yext user, or I'm a UBL user, and have been for a while. The benefit of a consistent listing. Everywhere I read and I write, if your telephone number, your NAMs are always accurate and the same, you will not have problems with duplicate listings, because people have talked about Google's change from their database in Google Maps and their database in Google Local Places, whatever it is this month, as Google morphs. I presume your service protects those kind of people because of the changing environment. You match the changes at your end with one-stop shopping for the user. Is that
correct?
That pretty accurate? Now,
Oh, absolutely.
Who are? I know that Info USA, Localese, and Axiom are the large providers of information on businesses. Where do businesses like Experian and Dun & Bradstreet fit into this whole equation in terms of, say, mailing list providers for small businesses?
Yeah, good question. The three initial businesses that you mentioned, Info, Axiom, and Localese, they're in heavy competition with each other for the distribution of their data, their network. We see them all as separate pieces of a larger puzzle. They're all great companies. They all have their great individual value that they bring. But as a business owner, like you said, that consistency is so key. So if you change your phone number and you only submit it to one of those providers, the other two might have an inaccurate number on file that then doesn't keep that consistent data out there. So then to your second point of these other providers like Experian and Dun & Bradstreet, and there's new ones on the space like Factual and nSphere, and now with new even publishers like Apple Maps coming into play, how does all that data really play together? And we think it as just a growing equation of different puzzle pieces, right? And if you've ever put a puzzle together, you know that you have to see the larger picture in it to be able to place the pieces exactly where they go. And so if you're missing a piece, you're not going to have a full picture there. And so we see them as all intertwined in a positive way. Dun & Bradstreet might have a reach into some navigation and GPS devices that Info Group does not, or Localese does not. And so that consistency of the distribution is important to get across the most broad network that you can.
So the broad network makes sure that you show up in as many places as possible for one listing.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, you mentioned David Mim and his local search ranking factors. I mean, experts across the world will tell you that there's 200 ranking factors here, 300 there. Everyone's got their secret sauce to SEO. But now we're in a world where local search optimization is such a collaborative and dynamic, cooperative type of environment that there are certain factors that relate specifically to on-page website SEO that also help you out with your local SEO. But there's different factors in there, and citations, profile building is so key, and we see it as such a major foundational source of helping with your local rankings. And that's really where we come into play. I mean, we understand that business owners can do a profile submission, a citation building. There's a do-it-yourself model. You can go out and actually build your own citations, make sure your information is accurate. But then there's providers like us that we're a big time-saving tool. Come to us, select a package that fits your needs, and we can make sure it gets all done for you on a larger scale than you could probably do for the cost of entry that you're incurring.
That seems absolutely accurate. One of those do-it-yourself things is probably David's getlisted.org tool and what he's doing on getlisted.org.
Yeah.
But you provide value, one-stop shopping, and simplicity, and you can sleep at night because you know UBL's got the stuff where it should be. I hope I don't want to sound like an ad for you, Brett, but I think you probably got a pretty good service. And
thank you.
And mobile, are you making sure with, say, Apple Maps and Google that you're going to show up in mobile searches?
Absolutely, yes. Now, it is a dynamic, ever-changing environment. So as you mentioned Apple Maps, as that change took place, we right away went into our network to make sure that our distribution partners are addressing the needs there. We had conversations direct with Apple, but they really locked down who their initial providers are. Now, we believe that they will open up to a larger network of providers once the need arises. For instance, we know that there's some publishers that take dozens of feeds, if not more, 50, 60, 70, 100 different feeds of data are coming in there. So going back to your consistency point, it's really important that you cover as many of those feeds as possible so there's not some rogue feed coming in that's got inaccurate data that screws up the rest, right, and creates those duplicates. So across the board, yes, mobile is extremely important. All of the original digital providers and publishers are going into a mobile fashion as well. And so just covering that network is a big part of what our product roadmap and development team is continuously doing.
Well, Brett, I want to thank you very much for your informative discussion with me here. And we'll be encouraging our users to go to ubl.org and make sure that they've got the best package for them. Thanks
Perfect.
again.
Well, thank you for the time.
Good.
Yeah, thanks so much. Have a wonderful.
We want you to go to the UBL and see what you have. There'll be a link at the end of the video. Have a great day. This is Rob Metris, the Silent Seller.